I accidentally entered the wrong spaceship. It was crewed by alien women who won't let me go. Ethan Miller ran through the crowded spaceport, his boots clanging softly against the polished metal floor. The air was thick with the hum of engines, chatter in dozens of languages, and the occasional whoosh of ships taking off. He carried a small bag slung over his shoulder and checked his communicator for the third time in 2 minutes. The flashing alert had made him lose focus, and he barely noticed the line of spaceships waiting at the docking bays. He had been excited for this mission for weeks. The chance to ride a new freighter to the nearby system was supposed to be easy, simple, and fast. Ethan loved adventure, even if it was only a small one. But now, his mind raced with details. The alert had been about a change in docking schedules. That meant every ship could be moving, leaving, or boarding in a confusing order. He sighed and hurried forward, hoping he was still on time. The spaceship he approached was sleek and silver, with faint blue lines running along the sides. The design was unfamiliar to him, but it looked modern and safe. He glanced at the docking screen but couldn't read the small letters quickly enough. He pressed the boarding button and watched as the door slid open. A small whirring sound welcomed him, and a soft airlock hiss filled the cabin. Without thinking, Ethan stepped inside. The inside of the ship was unlike anything he had seen before. The walls shimmered with soft light, and the air smelled faintly sweet. Panels blinked with unknown symbols, and smooth floors reflected his steps. It was beautiful but quiet in a way that made him feel uneasy. He looked around and expected to see a few humans checking their seats or pilots preparing for takeoff. Instead, he saw figures moving in the distance. They were tall, taller than any human he had ever seen. Their skin glowed faintly, like soft light reflecting off water. Their eyes were large and bright, catching his every movement. They wore suits that seemed to merge with their bodies, moving with grace and precision. Ethan froze in the doorway. He had never seen anything like them. They were women, yes, but not human. Their features were strange, yet beautiful, with shapes and colors he could not describe, and their presence alone felt powerful. A voice echoed softly through the cabin. "Who are you?" it asked, calm but firm. Ethan jumped. I'm Ethan Miller," he stammered, holding up his hands. I think I'm on the wrong ship. I was supposed to, board another one." The figures stopped moving. One of them stepped closer. She was taller than the others, her skin shimmering faintly green in the soft lights. Her eyes were bright, almost glowing, and her hair flowed like liquid silver. She studied Ethan quietly. "You are on the Celestara," she said. Her voice was soft but had weight. "And you will not leave." Ethan blinked. "Wait, what? I made a mistake. I need to leave." I have things to do." The woman's lips curved into a small, amused smile. "We know you are a human," she said, "and humans are unpredictable. That is why you are interesting." Ethan took a step back. His heart was pounding. "I don't want to be interesting. I want to go home. Please, just open the door." The doors behind him did not respond. They had already locked automatically when he entered. He tried pressing the button again, but nothing happened. Panic began to creep in. He had read about alien ships having automated systems, but he had never imagined being trapped on one. "Listen," he said, trying to keep his voice calm. "I think there's a mistake. I'm not supposed to be here. Can you just take me to the airlock? I can leave quietly, no problem." The tall woman tilted her head slightly as if considering him. Then she spoke again. "We cannot allow you to leave, not yet. You may be more useful than you realize." Ethan's stomach sank. "Useful? I'm just an engineer, a simple human. I can fix machines, I can read schematics, I know basic systems, but I'm not some hero or something." The woman stepped closer, her presence commanding attention. "You may be just a human, but humans adapt. That is why your species is unique. That is why we want you with us." Ethan swallowed hard. He had never felt so small in his life. The idea that he could be valuable to a crew of aliens was both terrifying and fascinating. He glanced around the cabin again. The ship was enormous. Hallways curved into strange shapes, and doors slid open automatically as the women passed. Machines hummed softly in colors he had never seen. It was all too much. "Look," he said, trying to sound reasonable. "I'm not part of your crew. I don't know your language, I don't know your systems, and I definitely don't know how to fly your ship. You have to let me leave." The woman smiled again, this time wider. "You will stay, Ethan Miller. For now, observe, learn. Perhaps you will find that leaving is not necessary." Ethan felt a mix of fear and disbelief. He had only wanted a short trip to a neighboring system, maybe a few hours in a small freighter. Now he was trapped on a ship full of powerful alien women who clearly had plans for him. He felt his legs weaken slightly and had to sit on a nearby bench. One of the other alien women approached him, her skin glowing faintly blue. She held a small device in her hands. "Do not worry," she said softly. "You will not be harmed. You are safe with us." "You only need to understand." Ethan nodded, though he did not feel safe at all. "Understand what?" he asked. "That humans are different," the woman said, "and different can be powerful if used wisely." He shook his head. "I'm not here to be powerful, I just made a mistake." The tall woman, Arya, stepped closer again. Her eyes studied him in detail, and Ethan felt as though she could see every thought in his head. "Perhaps mistakes are the most interesting things of all," she said. "They bring new possibilities. That is why you are here." Ethan tried to make sense of it all. He had expected some small adventure, maybe a routine ride on a freighter. Instead, he had walked into a situation that seemed impossible. He was a human, alone on a ship that was clearly designed for beings far stronger and smarter than him. Every instinct told him to run, but the doors were locked, and the aliens surrounding him made it clear there was no escape. He looked around the cabin. Machines blinked with unfamiliar colors. The floor shimmered slightly, as if alive. The walls curved in impossible angles. The alien crew moved with precision, almost like dancers, their eyes never leaving him. Ethan felt like a small child in a palace of giants. Still, something in him stirred. The fear was strong, yes, but beneath it, a spark of curiosity began to grow. Who were these women? What did their mission involve? Could a human like him really be of any use to them? The questions buzzed in his mind as he watched the crew prepare the ship. Arya spoke again, breaking the silence. "We will leave soon. You will see the galaxy in ways you cannot imagine. You may resist, you may fear, but you will learn." Ethan's pulse quickened. "I don't know if I can do that. I've never been in space like this. I've never been with beings like you." "You will survive," she said simply. "Humans are persistent. That is why you are here." Ethan took a deep breath and nodded slowly. There was no turning back now. He had made a mistake, yes, but that mistake had brought him to something extraordinary. As he looked at the alien crew, their eyes watching him, he felt a mix of dread and excitement. The ship hummed softly beneath him, ready for takeoff. Ethan Miller, a simple human who had only wanted a routine journey, realized that his life had changed forever. He did not yet understand what lay ahead, but one thing was clear. The wrong spaceship had brought him to the right adventure. As the engines powered up, Ethan felt the vibrations under his feet, stronger than any vehicle he had ever been in. The crew moved around him with practiced ease, preparing for departure. Ethan clutched his bag tightly, his mind racing. He thought about how quickly life could change. One wrong step, one wrong choice, and suddenly he was part of something unimaginable. The stars outside the window began to blur as the ship lifted from the docking bay. Ethan leaned back in his seat, trying to calm his racing heart. He had entered the wrong spaceship, yes, but perhaps, just perhaps, this mistake was the beginning of a story he could never have imagined, and one he could not escape, even if he wanted to. And as the Celestara shot through the void of space, Ethan Miller realized that he was no longer just a human in a crowded spaceport. He was a human aboard a ship of alien women who would not let him go. The adventure had begun, whether he was ready or not. Ethan Miller sat in the small seat near the front of the Celestara, still gripping his bag tightly. His heart was racing from the takeoff, and his mind was full of questions he did not know how to ask. The hum of the ship surrounded him, steady and smooth, unlike anything he had ever felt in human spacecraft. He watched the alien crew move gracefully through the corridors, their glowing forms reflecting faint light across the cabin. Arya, the tall alien woman who had first spoken to him, approached again. Her steps were silent, but she carried herself with authority. "You will need to learn about our ship," she said, her voice calm but firm. "It is not like human ships. It will take time to understand." Ethan swallowed hard. I can try, but I don't know anything about alien systems. I barely know Earth ships, to be honest." Arya smiled faintly, her eyes bright. "You do not need to know everything. You only need to understand enough to survive and to help when it is needed." Ethan nodded, feeling both nervous and relieved. At least they were willing to teach him something. He followed Arya down a wide corridor that curved slightly, walls glowing softly with colors he could not name. The air smelled faintly sweet, and the floor seemed to hum slightly under his feet. He realized that everything in the ship seemed alive, or at least aware. "This is the main control room," Arya said as they arrived at a wide chamber filled with blinking panels and screens. "This is where we navigate, communicate, and manage the ship systems. You will watch first. You will not touch anything yet." Ethan nodded again, studying the panels. Symbols moved across the screens, glowing in colors he had never seen. Some looked like moving shapes, while others displayed lines of data that seemed to shift constantly. How do you read all this?" he asked quietly. Arya's eyes twinkled. "We do not read as humans do, we understand. The ship communicates with us as we communicate with it." "It is symbiotic," Ethan blinked. He had read about alien technology that seemed alive, but he had never imagined it in practice. He felt a mix of fear and fascination. If the ship communicated with the crew, then perhaps it could sense his human presence as well. He shivered slightly, realizing how small he was in this vast, powerful machine. As they spoke, another alien woman approached. She was shorter than Arya, with soft lavender skin that shimmered faintly. Her name was Leora, and she carried a small device in her hands. "You will need to understand how we maintain the ship," she said gently. "Even if you are human, your hands are useful." Ethan felt a small spark of hope. Finally, he could do something. He had always been good with his hands, fixing machines, understanding wiring, and improvising repairs. Maybe he could contribute, even if he was just a human. Leora led him to a side chamber filled with panels, tools, and strange glowing cables. "This is the maintenance room," she said. "The ship does not require constant repair, but when it does, everyone helps. You will watch first, then try small tasks." Ethan's eyes widened at the equipment. Some of it looked like nothing he had ever seen, with glowing nodes and floating tools that moved slightly in the air. He reached out hesitantly and touched a small panel. It hummed under his fingers, and a faint light pulsed in response. "Do not be afraid," Leora said softly. "The ship responds to care, not force." Ethan nodded, taking a deep breath. He began following her instructions, learning how to check systems, reroute power, and adjust minor components. Surprisingly, he found that his human intuition worked in ways he had not expected. The ship's systems were strange, but the logic behind them was not entirely different from human machines. When he carefully observed patterns and responded calmly, the ship seemed to respond positively. Hours passed like minutes. Ethan became absorbed in learning the systems, feeling both nervous and excited. The alien crew watched him closely, sometimes stepping in to correct small mistakes, other times letting him figure things out on his own. He could feel their attention, not as pressure, but as careful guidance. During a break, Ethan wandered through another corridor. He marveled at the way the ship's walls glowed and shifted, almost like the ship itself was breathing. He stopped at a window and looked out into space. Stars stretched endlessly, glittering against the black void. Planets glimmered faintly in the distance, their colors strange and beautiful. He had seen stars before from Earth orbit, but this was different. The galaxy seemed alive here, vast and powerful. "You are studying the stars," a soft voice said behind him. Ethan turned to see another crew member approaching. Her skin was pale gold and her eyes glimmered with curiosity. "They are not like Earth stars, are they?" she asked. Ethan shook his head. "No, they are bigger, brighter, and I don't know, different," she smiled faintly. "Different is always interesting. You will see more as we travel. You will see things no human has ever seen." Ethan felt a shiver run down his spine. He had dreamed of space travel, but he had never imagined it like this. Not with aliens, not on a ship that seemed alive, and not with the feeling that every moment could bring something extraordinary. When he returned to the main control room, Arya was already standing at a large console, observing the screens. She looked up as he entered. "You are learning quickly," she said. "It is unusual for humans. Most take longer to understand even the simplest systems." Ethan shrugged nervously. I just try to figure things out. I'm not special." "You are special," Arya said simply. "Even humans are special, though they do not always understand it. That is why we brought you here. Even your mistakes are valuable." Ethan blinked. "My mistakes? I just got on the wrong ship." Arya's lips curved into a faint smile. "Perhaps your mistake was not entirely a mistake. Perhaps it was fate. You will see." As the hours passed, Ethan continued to learn. He helped reroute power through a damaged panel, repaired a small sensor that had been malfunctioning, and even suggested a minor adjustment that improved the ship's efficiency. The crew observed him closely, their expressions calm but curious. Ethan began to feel a strange sense of pride. For the first time, he was contributing in a meaningful way, even if he was still very much human and very much out of his element. Leora came to him again. "You are learning faster than expected," she said softly. "Perhaps you will be able to assist in other areas as well. The ship has many functions. Humans are adaptable. That is why we are interested in you." Ethan nodded, unsure whether to feel proud or nervous. The more he learned, the more he realized how little he truly understood. Yet at the same time, he began to feel a small connection to the ship. It was strange, like a quiet awareness that responded to his care and attention. He found himself speaking softly to it when adjusting panels, almost as if it could hear him. By the end of the first day, Ethan was exhausted. His mind was full of new knowledge, his body tired from hours of movement and adjustment. He sat quietly in his seat, watching the stars pass by the windows. The alien crew continued their tasks around him, graceful and silent, yet always aware of his presence. Arya approached and stood beside him. "You have done well today," she said. "You are human, yes, but you have shown understanding, patience, and ingenuity." "That is why you are here." Ethan shook his head. "I'm still just a human. I don't belong here. I don't know what I'm doing." "You belong here now," Arya said firmly. "Your presence is important. Your mistakes, your ideas, your perspective, all are part of this journey. You will see that humans have qualities even we cannot replicate. That is why we will not let you go." Ethan felt a strange mixture of fear and pride. He had entered the wrong ship, yes, but now he realized that perhaps he was exactly where he needed to be. He had thought he was just a simple human, out of place and powerless. But now he began to understand that even humans could make a difference in a galaxy full of advanced beings. As the Solistara glided through space, Ethan Miller closed his eyes briefly. He knew the days ahead would be filled with more learning, more challenges, and more fear. Yet he also felt a spark of excitement. He had survived his first day. He had learned new skills. He had begun to understand the alien crew. And perhaps, just perhaps, he could find a place among them, even as a human who had accidentally entered the wrong spaceship. He opened his eyes and watched the stars pass by again, feeling the hum of the ship beneath him. The adventure was only beginning. Ethan Miller woke early, the soft hum of the Solistara filling the cabin. He stretched and rubbed his eyes, still amazed that he was on a living, breathing spaceship filled with alien women. Every sound, every movement seemed more alive here than anything he had experienced on Earth. His mind kept replaying the lessons from the previous day. He had learned the basics of the ship's maintenance, and even though he was far from an expert, he had started to feel useful. Arya appeared at the doorway, her luminous eyes fixed on him. "It is time to see more of the ship," she said. Her calm tone carried a hint of authority. Ethan quickly gathered his bag, not sure what to expect next. He followed her through the wide, curved corridors. Each hallway shimmered with soft light, and the walls seemed to change slightly as they moved. Ethan could feel the ship's hum beneath his feet, almost like it was breathing with them. He had learned yesterday to pay attention to small details, and he now noticed faint glows pulsing along the floors and panels in response to their movements. "This is the observation deck," Arya said as they reached a large chamber with wide windows. The stars outside stretched into streaks of light as the ship glided through hyperspace. "From here, we monitor space traffic, detect threats, and observe planets. Humans rarely experience this view." Ethan stepped forward, pressing his hands against the smooth glass. He felt a thrill as he looked at the passing stars. "It's beautiful," he whispered. "I've never seen anything like this." Arya's gaze softened. "The galaxy is vast, Ethan. Many humans only see a fraction of it. You will see more soon, but first you will learn how to contribute. You are human, but humans have unique abilities. We want to see how yours can help us." Ethan's stomach tightened. He was used to being a good engineer on Earth, but he had never imagined that his skills could matter in space, among beings far advanced than himself. I can try," he said quietly. Arya nodded. "You will begin today. A problem has been detected in one of the ship's external systems. Follow me." They moved quickly through the corridors, and Ethan noticed more of the crew along the way. Each woman moved gracefully, attending to consoles, monitoring sensors, or adjusting panels. They glowed faintly, their skin reflecting the soft lights of the ship. Ethan felt a mixture of awe and nervousness. These were beings far beyond human capability, and he was just a simple human walking among them. Arya stopped before a wide chamber filled with strange equipment and glowing panels. "This is the external systems hub," she said. "A minor malfunction has occurred. We will attempt repairs, but we need your perspective. Sometimes humans see solutions differently." Ethan blinked. "My perspective, I'm not sure I—" "Observe first," Arya interrupted gently. "Then you may act, watch carefully, and you may help." Ethan nodded and watched as the crew began their work. Panels lit up in shifting patterns, wires hummed softly, and tools moved with precision guided by invisible mechanisms. One of the systems appeared damaged. A faint red light pulsed repeatedly. The crew checked data, analyzed sequences, and coordinated movements seamlessly. Ethan could see that the problem required careful attention, and the crew worked together flawlessly. Then something caught his eye. A small component, partially hidden behind a larger panel, was slightly misaligned. It was not something the aliens had noticed, or perhaps it was something humans would naturally think to adjust. Ethan hesitated for a moment, then stepped forward. "Excuse me," he said softly. "I think that part, maybe it needs to be pushed back slightly. It might fix the sequence." Arya glanced at him, her eyes narrowing slightly, then relaxed. "Proceed," she said. Ethan took a deep breath and carefully adjusted the component. He had never touched alien machinery before, but his hands moved with confidence, guided by instincts he had developed from years of human engineering. As soon as he completed the adjustment, the red light blinked green. A soft hum indicated the system was stable again. The crew paused, then smiled faintly. Arya's eyes glowed brighter. "Well done," she said. "You have successfully repaired the system. You see patterns that we do not. That is why humans are useful. You will be allowed to do more as time passes." Ethan's chest swelled with a mix of pride and relief. He had been terrified that he would make mistakes, but this small success gave him confidence. He realized that even though he was human and far less powerful than the alien crew, his skills had value. As the day continued, Ethan learned more about the ship's systems. He helped adjust energy flows, reroute minor power surges, and assist in recalibrating sensors. Each task made him more confident, and the alien crew watched closely, occasionally guiding him but mostly allowing him to find solutions on his own. During a break, Ethan wandered into the observation deck again. The stars stretched endlessly across the window, and he felt small but alive. Leora joined him, her golden lavender skin glowing softly. "You are doing well," she said. "You are learning faster than expected." Ethan shrugged. "I don't know, I just try to figure things out." "I make mistakes, but sometimes they help," Leora smiled. "Humans have that quality. Mistakes can reveal solutions. You see what we do not, and that is valuable. You may feel small, but your presence matters." Ethan felt a strange warmth at her words. He had felt like an outsider yesterday, trapped on a ship he did not understand. Now he began to feel a place among the crew. He was still human, still different, but his differences were not weaknesses, they were strengths. Later, alarms suddenly echoed through the ship. Red lights flashed across the corridors, and the hum of the engines shifted. Ethan froze, instinctively clutching the edge of a console. "What is happening?" he asked, panic rising in his chest. Arya appeared quickly, her expression calm but alert. "An external vessel is approaching. It may be hostile. We will need to defend the ship. Follow instructions and stay focused." Ethan's pulse raced. "Defend the ship? How can I help? I'm just a human." "You are not just a human," Arya said. "Your perspective is unique. Observe and assist when possible." The crew moved with precision, activating shields, scanning the approaching vessel, and readying defense systems. Ethan watched, trying to understand the alien technology as it responded to the threat. Then he noticed a small subsystem in the control panel flickering irregularly. It was similar to the system he had fixed earlier. "This part here," he said, pointing. "It's not functioning right. If we fix it, we can strengthen the shields." Arya glanced at the panel, then back at him. "Do it!" Ethan took a deep breath and carefully adjusted the subsystem. The flickering stopped, and a soft hum indicated the shields had strengthened. Arya nodded approvingly. "Well done, you have helped protect us." Ethan felt a surge of adrenaline. His heart pounded, and for the first time he realized that even as a human he could make a difference. He was part of the crew now, not just a visitor. The approaching vessel stopped at a distance, scanning the Solistara. The alien crew maintained their positions, alert and ready. Ethan stayed close to the control panel, helping monitor minor systems and relaying observations to the crew. His human intuition allowed him to notice small anomalies that the alien crew had not focused on. Hours passed and the threat finally retreated. The alarms stopped and the ship returned to its calm hum. Ethan slumped in his seat, exhausted but exhilarated. He had survived his first real test on the ship, and he had contributed in a meaningful way. Arya approached him again, her eyes bright. "You have done well today, Ethan. You have proven that humans are adaptable, capable, and valuable. You are more than a mistake on our ship. You are a part of it." Ethan shook his head, still catching his breath. "I never imagined, I didn't think I could, help like that. I'm just a human." Arya's lips curved into a small smile. "Humans underestimate themselves. That is why they are remarkable. You see things differently, approach problems differently. That difference is now our strength." Ethan felt a strange pride swelling inside him. He had come aboard by accident, expecting confusion and fear. Instead, he had found purpose. His human perspective, his simple skills had helped save the ship. For the first time, he felt like he belonged here, among beings so advanced and powerful. As the Celestara glided through space, Ethan watched the stars pass by the windows. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but he had learned something important. Even a single human could make a difference. He realized that his adventure had only just begun, and that the lessons of today would prepare him for the challenges ahead. Ethan Miller, the human who had entered the wrong spaceship, smiled faintly. He had been afraid yesterday, uncertain and powerless. Now he was learning, contributing, and surviving. And for the first time, he felt that perhaps, just perhaps, he was exactly where he was meant to be. The ship moved forward, steady and alive, carrying Ethan and the alien crew deeper into the unknown. The stars stretched endlessly, and Ethan knew that the next challenge could arrive at any moment. Yet, for the first time, he felt ready. Ethan Miller had grown more confident in his role aboard the Celestara, but nothing could have prepared him for what happened that day. The ship was gliding smoothly through a quiet sector of space, stars streaking past the observation deck windows. Ethan was helping Leora check energy flows when the alarm lights suddenly flashed red, and a deep, urgent hum vibrated through the hull. "Status report," Arya called, her voice calm but carrying a sharp edge that demanded attention. Leora glanced at her panels, her fingers flying over glowing controls. "External sensors detect an unidentified vessel approaching rapidly," she said. "Its energy signature is unstable, likely hostile." Ethan's heart pounded in his chest. He had seen alarms before, but this felt different. The ship vibrated beneath him as the engines adjusted automatically, preparing for evasive maneuvers. "What can I do?" he asked, panic rising. Arya's eyes met his, sharp and focused. "Observe first, then act. There may be a problem we have not anticipated. You have unique insight, Ethan. Be ready." Ethan nodded, trying to steady his hands. He had learned that day that his human perspective could spot things the crew might miss. But now, under real threat, he felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. The approaching vessel appeared on the main display, a massive, dark ship, its surface jagged and bristling with strange protrusions. Energy beams flickered along its hull. The Celestara's shields glowed faint blue, but one section flickered red. Ethan leaned forward, his eyes scanning the panels. "There's a weak point in the shield system," he said quickly. "Over here, the left rear quadrant. If the next attack hits there, it could bypass the shields." Arya's eyes followed his gesture. "Do you know how to fix it?" she asked. "I think so," Ethan said, feeling a surge of determination. "I can reroute power from the auxiliary systems to reinforce it. It's a workaround, not perfect, but it should hold." Arya nodded sharply. "Do it." Ethan moved quickly, hands shaking but focused. He followed the steps he had learned, carefully rerouting power from secondary circuits to the shield matrix. The panels pulsed under his touch, responding to his adjustments. He could feel the ship's hum change slightly, as if it recognized his intervention. "Shield reinforcement complete," he said, breathing heavily. Arya's eyes brightened. "Good work. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. The vessel is moving into attack range." The enemy ship fired suddenly, energy beams slamming into the Celestara's shields. Ethan felt the vibration through the floor and saw sparks flicker along the panels. The shield in the left rear quadrant held firm, thanks to his quick adjustments. The alien crew moved with precision, redirecting energy and adjusting defense systems. but it was Ethan's human intuition that had prevented disaster. One of the younger crew members, a tall, silver-skinned woman named Selena, looked at him in awe. "I cannot believe you fixed that in time," she said softly. "Humans, they see things differently." Ethan swallowed hard, trying to steady his nerves. I just noticed it. I thought it might help." Arya approached, her eyes glowing faintly. "It helped. You are human, yes, but your perspective is invaluable. Today proves that humans can do what even advanced beings may not see immediately." The battle continued for what felt like hours. The enemy ship moved unpredictably, attacking in bursts, trying to find weaknesses in the Solistara's shields. Ethan stayed at his station, monitoring systems and making small adjustments, rerouting power here, realigning sensors there. Each time the alien crew focused on complex strategies, he focused on small, practical fixes, things they had not considered. At one point, the enemy fired a beam aimed directly at the engines. Ethan spotted a misalignment in the deflector panels that could amplify the impact. "Panel 3, adjust the angle slightly," he shouted. The alien crew obeyed, and the energy blast deflected harmlessly into space. The ship rocked, alarms blaring, but slowly the tide began to turn. The Solistara's shields held, reinforced by Ethan's interventions. The alien crew fought with precision, using tactics Ethan could only partially understand. But together, the combination of human intuition and alien skill created a defense stronger than either alone. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes to Ethan. Sweat ran down his forehead as he worked tirelessly, moving from console to console, following Arya's orders and making quick decisions on his own. He had never imagined that his skills could matter so much, or that a human could have such a direct impact on a ship so powerful. Finally, the enemy ship, battered and unstable, began to retreat. The Solistara's shields held, its systems intact, and the crew regrouped. The lights returned to normal, and the soft hum of the ship replaced the alarms. Ethan slumped into a chair, exhausted but alive. Arya approached him again, her eyes glowing warmly. "You have done well, Ethan Miller," she said. "Your actions saved this ship. You are human, yes, but your contribution today proves that humans are capable of far more than they believe." Ethan shook his head, still breathing heavily. I didn't think I could do it. I'm just a human. I didn't even know what I was doing half the time." Arya's lips curved into a faint smile. "That is exactly why it worked. Humans approach problems differently. You do not rely solely on logic or expectation. You see patterns, you act instinctively, and that makes you unpredictable in a good way." Ethan felt a strange sense of pride. He had entered the wrong ship by accident, expecting confusion and fear. Instead, he had found purpose and proved that even a single human could make a difference in the galaxy. Leora came to him, her golden lavender skin glowing softly. "You have exceeded expectations," she said. "You helped reinforce the shields, stabilize the engines, and guided our response. You have shown that humans are not weak, even in the face of advanced technology." Ethan nodded, still catching his breath. "I didn't know I could do it. I just tried to help." Arya placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. "Trying is enough. Humans underestimate their own abilities. You have proven that even a human can save a ship. You are no longer just a passenger. You are part of this crew." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest he had never experienced before. Fear and uncertainty still lingered, but now they were mixed with pride and belonging. For the first time since boarding the Solistara, he felt like he truly mattered. The ship continued its journey, gliding through space with a calm hum. Ethan moved through the corridors, helping with minor repairs, checking systems, and observing the crew's coordination. Each task built his confidence. He realized that humans had a unique quality: adaptability. Even when faced with technology far beyond their understanding, humans could find solutions when they relied on instinct and creativity. That night, Ethan sat in the observation deck, looking out at the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly before him, vast and mysterious. He thought about how quickly his life had changed. Yesterday, he had been a simple human trapped on a strange ship. Today, he had fought alongside aliens, saving their ship with nothing but his human perspective and quick thinking. Selena joined him, her silver skin glowing faintly in the dim light. "You did well today," she said softly. "I did not think a human could have such an impact." Ethan shrugged. "I just tried. I didn't really know what I was doing half the time." She smiled faintly. That is what makes humans remarkable. You act instinctively, you adapt. That is a strength we do not always possess. Ethan felt a sense of belonging he had never felt before. The crew had accepted him, not just as a passenger or a mistake, but as someone valuable. He was human, yes, but that did not mean he was powerless. Arya approached, standing behind him silently. "Tomorrow you will learn more about the ship's systems," she said. "And soon there will be new challenges. You have proven your worth, but the galaxy is vast and danger is never far. Are you ready?" Ethan looked out at the stars, feeling a sense of determination. I think so," he said quietly. "I'm ready to learn, I'm ready to help, I want to do my part." Arya's eyes glowed faintly, a sign of approval. "Then rest now. Tomorrow your lessons continue and your skills will be tested again. But for today, you have proven that even a human can make a difference." Ethan leaned back, closing his eyes. He thought about the enemy ship, the alarms, the flashes of red light, and the way the crew had trusted him to act. He realized that being human did not mean being weak. It meant being adaptable, creative, and resilient. Today, he had learned that lesson in the most intense way possible. As the Solistara glided silently through the void of space, Ethan Miller felt a new sense of purpose. He had entered the wrong ship by accident, but that accident had brought him to a place where he could matter. He was no longer just a human among aliens. He was part of a team, and his presence was now essential. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new systems to learn, and perhaps new dangers. But for the first time, Ethan did not feel fear. He felt ready. He felt capable. And he understood that even a single human could change the course of events in ways no one could predict. For the first time, Ethan Miller felt at home in a galaxy full of unknowns. He was human, he was different, and that difference was now a strength. Ethan Miller awoke to the soft hum of the Solistara, feeling both tired and excited. The past few days had been a whirlwind. He had boarded the wrong spaceship by mistake, met an alien crew of powerful women, learned their systems, and even helped save the ship from attack. Now, he realized he had come far beyond being just a simple human passenger. He had a purpose here. Arya appeared at the doorway, her glowing eyes calm and steady. "Today, you will see the results of your efforts," she said. Ethan felt a mixture of curiosity and nervousness. What did she mean by results? He followed her through the corridors, noticing how the crew moved with precision and focus, their glowing forms weaving through the ship like threads of light. They reached the main control room, where several panels displayed detailed information about the ship's systems and the surrounding space. "Today, you will assist with a new operation," Arya said. "Your skills have proven valuable, and this task will require both human intuition and crew coordination. Are you ready?" Ethan nodded. "I think so, I'm ready." Arya's lips curved into a faint smile. "Good. Observe first, then act. There will be challenges, but your perspective is essential." The operation began as the Solistara approached a nearby sector known to be dangerous. Reports indicated a derelict vessel drifting near an asteroid field. The ship's sensors suggested that something important might be inside, but the terrain was hazardous, and the derelict could be unstable. Ethan watched as the alien crew prepared for the mission. Arya gave orders with calm authority, delegating tasks to each crew member. Ethan's role was to monitor the derelict's systems and provide guidance based on his observations. His heart raced. He had learned much, but this was the first time he would play a critical role in a mission that involved both danger and strategy. The Solistara glided close to the asteroid field, its shields adjusting to protect against debris. Ethan studied the derelict's energy readings. "The power core is unstable," he said. "If we enter too quickly, it could explode or collapse. We need to stabilize it first." Arya nodded. "Your assessment is correct. Prepare to assist in rerouting energy to support stabilization. Follow my instructions carefully." Ethan's hands moved quickly over the controls, rerouting power and adjusting the Solistara's systems. The ship hummed in response, almost as if it trusted him. Panels flickered, lights glowed, and Ethan felt the thrill of being an integral part of the mission. As the crew maneuvered the ship closer to the derelict, Ethan noticed a pattern in the energy fluctuations. "Wait," he said. "The instability is cyclical. There's a short window every 5 seconds where the energy spike is minimal. If we move during that window, we can approach safely." Arya's eyes glowed brighter. "Excellent observation, Ethan. Prepare for precise timing." "The crew will follow your lead." Ethan's pulse quickened. This was it, the moment where human intuition could make a real difference. He coordinated with the crew, counting down the seconds and signaling when to move. The Solistara glided forward, matching the timing perfectly. The derelict remained intact, its unstable core avoided. The crew exchanged impressed glances, and Ethan felt a swell of pride. He had done something that even the advanced alien crew might not have noticed. His human perspective had saved the mission from disaster. Inside the derelict, the Solistara's sensors detected an unusual object, a small device emitting faint energy pulses. Ethan studied the readings. "This device seems important," he said. "It might be a communication or navigation core. We need to retrieve it carefully." Arya nodded. "You will guide the retrieval. Your insight is critical." Ethan directed the crew, providing guidance on stabilizing the derelict's environment and avoiding areas of structural weakness. He felt a strange sense of command, not because he was more powerful than the aliens, but because his perspective and intuition mattered. Every decision he made was observed, trusted, and followed. The retrieval went smoothly, thanks to Ethan's guidance. The device was secured, and the crew returned to the Solistara. Ethan exhaled, realizing how much he had contributed. For the first time, he felt fully part of the crew, not just a human passenger, but a valued member whose actions could change outcomes. As they exited the asteroid field, the crew gathered in the main chamber. Arya looked at Ethan, her eyes glowing warmly. "You have done well, Ethan Miller," she said. "Your human perspective, your courage, and your adaptability have proven invaluable. Today you have shown that even humans can influence events in ways we cannot anticipate." Ethan shook his head, still trying to process everything. I tried to help. I didn't know if I was doing the right thing." Arya smiled. "That is precisely why it worked. Humans act in ways that are unpredictable but often effective. Your actions today may have saved lives and certainly ensured the success of this mission. You are no longer just a visitor on this ship. You are part of the Solistara." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest he had never experienced before. He had entered the wrong spaceship by accident, expecting confusion and fear. Now he realized that his presence was essential. His human qualities, intuition, creativity, and adaptability had proven critical. The crew began their routines again, but Ethan noticed subtle changes. The alien women watched him differently now, with a mixture of respect and curiosity. They consulted him more frequently, allowed him to suggest adjustments, and even smiled faintly at his observations. He was human, yes, but that did not mean he was powerless. Later, Ethan sat in the observation deck, looking out at the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly before him, full of mysteries, dangers, and wonders. He thought about how far he had come, from a simple human who accidentally boarded the wrong ship to a member of a crew capable of facing hostile forces and solving complex problems. Leora joined him, her golden lavender skin glowing softly in the dim light. "You have grown quickly," she said. "Your intuition, your courage, and your willingness to act have made you invaluable." Ethan smiled faintly. "I still feel like a human out of place sometimes, but I'm learning. I want to keep helping, keep learning." "You will," Leora said. "Your role will continue to grow. Humans may seem small, but your species' ability to adapt and persevere is remarkable. You have proven that today." Ethan leaned back, watching the stars streak past. He realized that he had found something he never expected: belonging. The Solistara was no longer just a ship full of aliens. It was a place where he could matter, where his presence was valued, and where his mistakes, perspective, and courage could make a difference. Arya approached quietly, standing beside him. "Tomorrow we will reach the next sector," she said. "There may be challenges, but you are ready. You have proven yourself human. Your presence here is not accidental. It is necessary." Ethan nodded slowly. I understand. I want to do my part." Arya's eyes glowed faintly, a sign of approval. "Good. The galaxy is vast, full of unknowns, but together humans and our crew can face it. Today you have shown that one human can influence the course of events. Never doubt your abilities again." Ethan felt a surge of determination. He had entered the wrong spaceship by mistake, but that mistake had brought him to a place where he could make a difference. He had faced danger, learned new skills, and proven that humans were capable of more than they often believed. As the Solistara moved silently through space, Ethan Miller looked out at the stars. The galaxy was vast and mysterious, but he no longer felt afraid. He had a purpose. He had a crew who trusted him. And he had proven that even a human, alone and small, could make a difference in a universe filled with advanced beings. For the first time, Ethan felt fully alive in a way he had never experienced on Earth. He was human, yes, but here, in this vast galaxy aboard a ship of alien women, he had found a place where he belonged. The Solistara glided on, its systems humming softly, carrying Ethan and the crew into the unknown. He knew there would be challenges ahead, dangers that he could not yet imagine. But he also knew that he had proven himself. He had learned that being human did not mean being weak. It meant being adaptable, creative, and resilient. Ethan Miller, the human who had entered the wrong spaceship by accident, smiled faintly. He had made mistakes, he had feared the unknown, and he had doubted himself. But now he was part of something greater. He was part of a crew, part of a mission, and part of a galaxy that needed both humans and aliens to succeed. And as the stars stretched endlessly outside the observation deck, Ethan felt a sense of hope, purpose, and belonging that he had never known before. The adventure was far from over, but he was ready. He was no longer just a human in the wrong ship. He was Ethan Miller, a human who mattered, and that was enough.